Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another fine in-stereo edition of Front of House. It's essentially the best seat in the house because you are right in between two stereo speakers. And good news, this podcast is in stereo. Today we're going to do part 2 of our interview and performance with the legendary Brother Sal. Sal and I had just a fantastic conversation here at the North Hollywood Hideout a few weeks back, and I am pleased and pleasured to be playing it back for you today on Front of House. Before we get into that, let's hear a produced track from Brother Sal and The Devil May Care. This one recorded at Sunset Sound. Thank you to Sal for letting us play it here on the show. As far as I know, it's not available for release yet, but if you follow Brother Sal on the Twitter at The Brother Sal, you will get information on everything that dude is doing. This track is called Good Hearted Man, and it's right here, only on Front of House.
Well, I'm a hard-hearted man with a hard-hearted woman, and I don't know who's wrong or what is right. I hold her hand in the bright of the sunshine, and I'll turn my back in the black of the night. Hearts of stone ain't just gonna break, but loving a girl, that's the chance you must take. I'll be a good-hearted man to my woman. Yes, I will. Now when you choose to love somebody, you gotta give a little more than you give. And if you walking in the way of the wordsmith, you're just traveling on the road to regret. My heart of fire ain't just gonna burn. Strike a match, blow it out, to love is to learn. I'll be a good-hearted man to my woman. Yes, I will. For the love of a good woman is still so hard to find, and it will feel like the weight of the world is resting deep, so deep on your Well, I'm a hard-hearted man with a hard-hearted woman, and I don't care who's wrong or what is right. Hold her hand in the bright of the sunshine, and I'll come back home in the black of the night. My heart of stone ain't just gonna break, chance that I've gotta take. I'll be a good-hearted man to my woman. Yes, I will. I'll be a good-hearted man to my woman. Yes, I will. I'll be a good-hearted man to my woman. Yes, yes, I
Good-Hearted Man from Brother Sal and Devil May Care here on Front of House. All right, pop your headphones on, crank up the knob, and let's get into this, my brothers and sisters. You're going to love it. Part 2 with Brother Sal, Front of House.
Give a man give a place to rest, hidden, scared, alone, close to your breast. And I'm the captain of this here vessel, a cotton cap and a dog I own. I've seen this world, heard tales of glory. Every sailor knows how to tell a story. I did learn true, like my daddy for me. I give them charms from an endless bounty. I sail the seas of the great wide north. I sail the seas to reach the shore. Tell tales of love and grandeur where I've been. Tip your cap, spill your drink, and praise the Lord. I excel in trade 20 years or more. I am displayed in self-righteous scorn. Forgave no debt that a man did owe. Let the waters fade and the waves they roll through winds and rain, a sheltered storm, dried out again in true bitter form. Search starboard, east and the moon above. What profits man is a heart in love. I sail the seas of the great wide north. I sail the seas to reach the shore. Tell tales of love and grandeur where I've been. Tip your cap, spill your drink, and praise the Lord. Now people know that I ramble roll on the waves of sin, stoke fire below. Search starboard, east and the moon above. Look north, I sail the sea. I sail the seas of the great wide north. I sail the seas to reach the shore. Tell tales of love and grandeur where I've been. Tip your cap, spill your drink, and praise the Lord. I sail the seas of the great wide north. I sail the seas to reach the shore. Tell tales of love and grandeur and where I've been. Tip your cap, spill your drink, and praise the Lord. I tip your cap, spill your drink, and praise the Lord. I spill your drink, tip your cap, and praise the Lord.
Brother Sal is our guest, front of house. Sounds to me like a song of gratitude.
Huh, really? That song came about because my mom and I were hanging out one day, and I was wearing this hat that my father brought for me when I was about a year old from the North Atlantic. He was on a British Navy sea vessel.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have it. I've had it my whole life. It's one of them old wool cotton hats that sailors wear. It even says Manchester, England on it. Like that's where it's made, man. They make their own stuff. And I said something to my mom like, yeah, I got a song idea, I think. She said, you should write a song about that hat you got on. And me and my dad haven't always seen eye to eye. We're two very different people, or very similar, I don't know. And that's the point. And so I kind of wrote it about what sailors are like. What about a hat, man? Okay. You know what I mean? That's all it is, man.
Well, that's what's interesting and totally awesome about songwriting is I hear, I heard all the sailing references, but what I kind of got from that was a happy wanderer vibe.
Yeah.
And then tip your cap, spill your drink, and praise the Lord. To me, that meant tip your cap to somebody, say thank you,
right.
Say hello. You
spill your drink out.
Pour out one for the homies.
That's it. Spill it out for somebody.
And praise the Lord.
That's all you can do.
God bless us.
That's it.
Everyone.
Yeah. That song came to me pretty quick too, man. And it was one of those things like I recorded that a couple times and I can't figure out how I like it. It's one of those songs, which is usually you're never going to find it. You're never going to discover how it is. You just know that it might be one of the best songs you ever written. And the thing about it is I played it for a bunch of songwriting friends, and they love the fact that I actually said out loud, what profits man is a heart in love. Because that's not usually what I write about. But the opening line was the most important part of the song. Give a man a home, give a place to rest. Hidden, scared, alone, close to your breast.
I got that line, and it was real easy to go from there. It was kind of like, look, no matter who we are, as people, as human beings, or whatnot, something that's sorely lacking in the world today is good feeling amongst men.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants to be right. Everyone wants their opinion to be heard. They want you to listen, but they don't really care about listening to you.
Right.
And my thing is, man, I remember how it used to be. I'm old enough to remember how it used to be. And so the whole point of that song is like, look, I'm on my own journey. You know what I mean? And I talk about my dad in the song, and I give him some love, and I make him look all right, because there's other songs I've written about him that don't, you know. But really,
As
man, it's
our
about that
fathers.
hat. It really is. It's about that hat. It's like, you gave me something tangible here that I still use and wear, you know. And yeah, that's what it's about, man.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Uh-huh.
Brother Sal is here. You kind of brought into the old school. You know, you and me, I believe we're just about the same age. Mid-40s.
Close.
Close?
Yeah, I'm 44. I was born in 75.
All right, I'm 45. I was born in 74.
Oh.
Interesting.
When's your birthday?
March 12th.
March 12th.
And
Let me ask you a question, man.
Yeah,
Are you from California?
yeah. Many generations.
So when I came to California, I discovered that people had a way of explaining themselves through, astrology.
Mm.
And over the time that I've lived here in California, I've learned enough about myself to either say, what I'm about to tell you about myself is going to make you walk away, or what I'm about to tell you about myself is you're going to embrace me, you know? My thing, I'm a Cancer, right?
Okay.
The thing about Cancers, man, is they're supposedly, these real emotional, creative people who love their homes, and they're hard on the outside, they're soft on the inside, like a crab.
Okay.
And look, I laugh about it just as much as the next man. Astrology is funny to me. It really is. Except when it's really useful to explain why I am a certain way. My father is a Scorpio through and through. And really, truly, my mother's a Scorpio too.
What does that mean? What?
They like to sting.
Okay.
They like to come at you, man.
All right.
You know what I mean? They got the tail and they sting you. That's as far as I know about Scorpios. You know what I mean? But if you're raised with two of them, somewhere along the line, somebody explained that I never had a shot. You had to pinch him with the crab claws, you know? It's funny, man. Astrology is funny until it's not, and it's very useful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like telling somebody you're from the state of New Jersey, you have a license to be an asshole. You know what I mean? I'm not from New Jersey, but I know exactly how to use that. You know what I mean? Where's that dude from? He's from New Jersey. Oh, totally makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyways, astrology and New Jersey, one and the same.
I remember being at a party. I don't know how long ago, but there was this big astrology book at this chick's house. And it was like called the birthday book or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that book.
And
I've had like 3 girlfriends go find that book at Barnes & Noble while they were with me to determine whether or
that's
not
fucked up.
we were compatible.
Okay, yeah. So you're absolutely right. Like I agree with you 100%. Astrology is hilarious. And then when you're half in the bag, you pick up the birthday book and you start reading about people who were born on your day.
Right.
I threw that fucking book across the room. I got 5 paragraphs deep, and I threw it. I'm like, fuck you. Nobody knows this much about me. That's fucking bullshit.
It's
scary
weird
shit.
how it works, man. It really is. And I used to make fun of people for the longest time. And I met this girl back in the day named Carly, and she was friends with me. And I was about 18, 19. And so at this time, I wasn't telling people I was a musician. I had a big group of friends who did not know that I played the piano. who did not know that I sang, did not
Why?
know.
That's
Because I
we
kept
gotta
it
get
hidden.
into that. Why did you keep it hidden? What?
Because it was my own thing.
Okay.
It was my own thing, and I wasn't sure about myself at that time.
Was
And
that what it was? But you were.
I think
you
it was,
were certainly
man.
proficient by that time.
Very proficient, but it doesn't really matter. My whole thing was, I have those same people are still friends with me, and I had this night of epiphany sort of for them, essentially, where we were all drinking pretty heavily. About 3 a.m, I'm at my friend Joe's house, who still lives in the same place, and he's got this beat up piano. And we're in the backyard, and I say to him, "Hey man, you mind if I go play the piano?" And they all kind of laughed. They were like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, go play the
for it,
piano."
bro.
And I went inside, started playing, and I wish my friend Pat was here because he would tell you, he has the best version of it in the fact that they all ran, just drunkenly ran inside looking at me. And the thing was with all of them is the supposition of what I actually did for a living. Sal steals cars. Sal deals dope. Sal is out every night, but nobody knows what he does. And some of those things were true, but that's just a way to get by. That's just a way to actually
Sure.
make ends meet.
Right.
But to a man, every single one of them called some friend that they had who had a piano in a bar and said, and at that time, LA had a lot of piano bars. "You got to have my buddy come down and play the piano." And Pat was the first one to call me the next day. And it wasn't even a call, it was a page. That's how long ago this was. I got a page from Pat, walked down to the payphone, called him. "What's up, man? I got you a gig tonight. Tonight, do you have a microphone and an amplifier, and can you play 4 hours of music?" And I said, "I don't have a microphone, I don't have an amplifier, but I can play 4 hours of music." He's like, "Cool. There's this spot at the building he worked on over off of Cahuenga. It was an EDS building, which I think got bought out by the porn company Vivid Entertainment. It's right across
I know
from
where the Vivid
Universal
we drive
City
by
Nissan.
there. Yeah.
It's right there.
It's
There
on
used
the-
to be a
next
bar
to
in there
101.
called Maloney's or Mahoney's or something like. It was an Irish bar, and they had a piano in there. And the deal was, "Sal, I'll give you." It was an Irish guy who owned it. And he said, "Sal, I'll give you $75 and dinner." And I wasn't even old enough to drink.
Pretty good.
And I said, "Great, that
Yeah.
sounds fine."
It's a
And
great deal. That's a
I
gig.
played that night for my friends for the first time, instead of keeping it to myself. Do you know what I mean? And then, so Pat essentially loves to tell stories in groups that he's the discoverer of me.
Okay, yeah. Of course.
That's not how it went, man. That's not. But Pat is like that, you know. But from that time forward, I kind of put all the other stuff on the shelf and started playing all these different piano bars. I played a different place 7 nights a week.
Well, back then, so we're talking like 93, 94.
Yeah.
You know, the only essential piano bar, it's not even a piano bar, but it is a jazz club that really exists anymore, is a Catalina.
Oh yeah, the
Over
Catalina
there on
Jazz
Wilshire.
Club. Yep. I played spots here in the valley.
Okay.
So Maloney's or whatever, Mahoney's was like Monday night.
Yeah.
On Tuesday nights, I played Sardo's, which is over on Pass Avenue.
Does it still exist?
No, it's now Crawford's Fried Chicken, hot chicken.
Okay, but they don't have a piano.
They don't have a piano.
Yeah.
They didn't have a piano there. You had to bring your own keyboard.
Okay.
And then eventually they started doing karaoke. But Sundays was a place which is now Foreman's on Riverside, and that was called the Money Tree. And the Money Tree also, basically you could come down with your saxophone or your trumpet or your voice, and I would play the piano for you. And I met
that's cool.
there a guy named Joe Namichi,
That's
who
what,
was
where
like,
you okay?
that was like the spot where I started. Joe Namichi was a general manager of Star Auto Ford, and he would drop $100 in my tip jar every week. He was like old school. He's like Don Draper from Mad Men. Mustache, always in a suit, always smoking, you know what I mean? You could smoke in bars in California then. And was always drinking the same thing, 7 and 7 or whatever it was. And he always put $100 in my tip jar. And $100 when you're 18 in 93 is a huge amount of money. Huge. And it was one of those things that eventually I started playing these places and I met this guy who was sort of, if I had to ever say I had a mentor of sorts, this old actor who's famous, a guy named Roscoe Lee Brown, who was famous for, he did the voice, the storytelling on the Star Wars record that was released. He told the story, but he was also on like Soap. And he was also like the narrator of the movie Babe. And he, beautiful black guy, bald and gay as shit. And he started off hitting on me. And then he watched me play. And then he kind of took me under his wing and said, listen, you have talent. And he would say things like, I wish you could have met Dean Martin. Like things like this, right? And I'm like, what? Yeah, Dean Martin was a good friend of mine. He spoke Italian, so we would speak Italian to each other. Like he was somebody who came from probably nothing, but was this revered, beautiful character actor that everyone knew. Sinatra, all of them. He knew the Rat Pack. He knew all these guys. And essentially, he just encouraged me in a way that no one was encouraging me at that time. And he drove a Datsun 240Z.
Yeah.
Remember
240s,
that? Yeah. And he wore cowboy boots everywhere. And every once in a while, you get half in the bag.
Those are three things that don't necessarily go together.
That was Roscoe, man. And the thing was, like, I met some great people with him. Yeah, I mean, and eventually, years and years and years later, Roscoe died about 10 years ago. So about 5 or 6 years ago, a friend of mine brings Lawrence Fishburne into the piano bar in Hollywood where I had been playing religiously. Started the bar, the whole thing. And Lawrence and I hung out. He listened to my music and he loved it. And Lawrence and I closed the door of the spot, kept drinking, kept smoking and whatnot. And eventually came to find out that he was also mentored by Roscoe Lee Brown right after shooting Apocalypse Now.
Oh,
Same kind of thing where Roscoe gave him this encouragement that, son, you have a talent to do what you're doing.
Man, he was young in Apocalypse Now, like 17, young.
Here's the thing. I think it's public knowledge so we could talk about it. He lied to Coppola. And he told him he was 18, and he was 15 when he went and shot it. And when he was done shooting it, he was 18.
Okay.
And that's, I think
wow.
If it's not,
because he seriously looks young. You know, they'll cast anybody these days to play. They'll cast a 20-year-old to play 14, and
so
we all believe it.
he gave me that story and was like, and so we bonded over Roscoe, and Roscoe's actually in his den or living room in an urn. You know what I mean? And we both, I mean, it was a moment of like hugging and like crying and you know what I mean? It was beautiful.
That's
Anyways,
cool.
Roscoe was this guy who came along and sort of offered me support and whatnot in a really weird town. Los Angeles was weird to me, man.
Right.
It wasn't like where I grew up. It wasn't anything like that. It was a free-for-all for everyone. And no one worked. No one did anything. They just hung out and tried to be, I'm going to go here and live for a year on my dad's money or something like that. And then they left. You know what I mean? It was just an odd place. And there was this solid stone of a guy who was there every week and would offer advice and support and whatnot. You know,
those are the people that we all need in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Gandalf. That's the wizard figure.
That's it, man.
That's the guide. Brother Sal is our guest. I know, as interesting and compelling as this discussion is, I know everybody wants to hear another song.
Man,
Let's get into some more music, man.
All right. Let's see.
But, wow.
Yeah, don't get me
Fishburne.
talking, actually,
No,
man.
I love this. I'll tell the story after this song about how you and I met and that wonderful night at that private club in Hollywood. Great musicians.
Yeah. Good night.
Really, really fun night. But I got a funny little anecdote that I'll share with all of y'all. Brother Sal is our guest, front of house. Remember, this podcast is in stereo. So if you find yourself listening on your phone, slap yourself in the face and put it in stereo, please. What are you going to do for us, brother?
Maybe I will do a cover. Do you want me to? Or you want me to sing another one of my own?
Sure.
I have a...
Your call, dude.
I got a good cover for you, man. This here's a song by one of my favorite writers of all time, Brother Randy Newman.
I've been around the world, had my pick of most any girl. You think I'd be happy, but I'm not. Everybody knows my name, but it's just a crazy game. Oh, it's so lonely at the time. Listen to the band playing just for me. Listen to the people paying just for me. All applause and all the parade, all the money, mama, I have made. Oh, it's so lonely at the time. Listen, all you fools out there, go on and love me, frankly, I don't really care. Oh, it's so lonely at the time. Oh, it's so lonely at the time.
Brother Sal covering Randy Newman, our guest here on Front of House. Dude, you have such a great command of your voice.
Thank you, man.
You're a fantastic singer.
Thanks, bud.
We spoke earlier about how your grandma would play the piano and show you the melody, and you would play the melody. Did that ever turn into formal lessons, or was that?
Yeah, I took piano for the first time from like a neighborhood teacher. lived for a minute in Indianapolis, and really loved the house I lived in. And I love the people in Indiana, man. They're great, very welcoming. And the first thing that happened, you know, somebody moves into a neighborhood in Indiana, they welcome you. Everyone comes out, they bring you cookies and dinner and all this. That's how it used to be. And there was a kid who came with his parents who showed me,
What's that? Chopsticks? Is that what that is?
no, it's Heart and Soul.
Okay.
And he showed me that, and okay, cool. So there was that. And then I started taking from like an older lady who was a piano teacher in my neighborhood, you know? And then I moved back to Italy. And when I got back there, I started taking lessons as part of school through this Russian lady, Miss Signora Stubakowski. Stubakowski. And she had a parlor, and I played her piano, and she would sit across the parlor with her eyes closed and knew every single time that I missed a note. This is how studied this lady was. And it was only classical. There was no talk about, do you mind if I play this Motley Crue song,
Sure.
Home Sweet Home?
Right.
I've never heard of it. There's no way, you know, it's not Mozart, it's not Muzio Clementi, or it's somebody like that. People that you study classically, and that's all it was. I studied classically with Miss Stubakowski, and it started there. But when I was 7, I wanted this Radio Shack tape deck that was like, you know, it was a rectangle that you could take a blank tape, put it in, press 2 buttons, and there was a small microphone on it, and you could sing into it. And I spent all of my time by myself singing every song I knew into that thing to hear my voice. Not with it playing in the background, just like I'm going to sing Michael Jackson's Thriller. I mean, you can hear these tapes. I still have them. My mom's in the background screaming, "Don't sing that," or whatever it is, you know what I mean? I grew up in a very strict household. I wasn't, like, technically allowed to listen to the stuff that I was singing. Corey Hart, Never Surrender, like songs like this that I liked, that moved me, you know what I mean? And so I had that thing for years, and all I did was sing into it. And it was right around that time where boys discover girls that I realized girls really like a kid who can sing. And that's where it came from. It was like, all right, I should probably do this more often.
So you've had incredibly formal lessons with playing the piano, but singing, you just found your voice?
Just found my voice.
Wow.
Yeah. No lessons singing wise. In fact, that first gig that I told you about at Mahoney's or whatnot, there was a man eating dinner at the table right in front of me. And this is actually kind of funny because we met years and years later. The dude sat there and watched me, and while I was playing one of my songs, walked onto stage, which now is not allowed. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I didn't know.
People still do it.
They still do it, but not on my show,
no,
not on my stage.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was like, this is an older man. I can't tell him to get the fuck off stage.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And also, in this time, you don't know who you're talking to.
No
That's
idea.
got to be going through your head.
Came up to me, whispered in my ear, "You're a really great piano player, but your vocals need a lot of help." And so I looked at him and I said, "Thank you so much, sir. Why don't you go enjoy your dinner?" And I said it out loud on the microphone. I was like, this guy doesn't think I sang that well or whatnot. And he stopped as he was walking away. He said, "You know, there's a voice coach in town. His name is Seth Riggs. You should look him up." I said, "Thanks, I'll do that." Flash forward probably 8 years, and me and a guy I have a band with had just signed a deal with the rest of the members on Atlantic Records. And our manager says to us, I got you guys vocal instruction for this from the best in town. He does everyone. His name is Seth Riggs.
Riggs.
And I was like, oh man, I know that guy, or I've heard his name before. Yeah, great. All right, cool. We get to Seth's place, and I walk in, and it's the old man who came up on stage and told me to go get vocal instructions from him. And from that moment forward, I said, I'm good.
That's what we call, on this show at least, that's what we call welcome to Hollywood moments.
Exactly.
Like, there you go. Boom. Hollywood just slapped you in the face.
It was Seth Riggs himself telling me to go see Seth Riggs himself about
dick.
vocal instructions.
What a dick.
I mean, the guy was, vocal coach for Michael Jackson, all kinds of people or whatnot,
Oh man, so we got time for one or two more, whatever you're feeling.
Okay.
But I do want to. I got one quick question for you before we get into the next song. I love classical music.
Me too. It's my place of respite.
Yes.
It always has
I
been,
also,
and it always will be.
People who listen to this show also know that I'm a big fan of the word respite. So anyone who comes in and uses the word respite, you just score more points.
Did I win anything?
No.
Okay.
Just my admiration.
All right.
But for people, like I get asked this question a lot from people, and I like to ask people this same question. People ask me, where do we get started on classical music? And I tell them, just go get Gustav Holst, The Planets.
Okay.
Just listen to that.
Sure.
And if you like classical music, you're going to fucking know it while you're listening to that.
Okay.
But there's got to be some iconic pieces of music that you really love and inspired you that you take respite in. Give us one or two, because I'm certainly going to seek them out and listen to them.
So, my very favorite movie of all time is Amadeus. And I don't think that there's anything that's ever come after it or before it that I've seen that has moved me. And he's a buffoon, and he plays him brilliant. Tom Holst plays Mozart brilliantly, because that's what it was a play and was written like that. But I had a Mozart, or my parents had a Mozart greatest hits of Mozart or something like that cassette that I stole at some point. And it was I think the first side was like Eine kleine Nachtmusik, which is very famous and everyone knows that or whatnot. But in the Amadeus soundtrack, there's a piece specifically that I need to listen to once a week. Because for me, Mozart was the writer who wrote these ethereal, heavenly melodies that have never been duplicated. You know what I mean? So it's the piano sonata in E flat major. And there's a scene in Amadeus where he's kind of silently to himself writing it and conducting the thing. And it's... You know what I mean? It's huge, and the orchestration that he put around the piano that's happening there doesn't sound like anything in this earth. It doesn't. It sounds alien. To me, still to this day, that's where I start. Mozart. In the way that if somebody came to you and said, "Hey, man, are you a Bruce Springsteen fan?" "Yeah, I am." "What album should I get first?"
Sure, yeah.
And you'll give them your response or whatever. I don't pull any punches with greatest hits. They're greatest hits for a reason. Everyone loves them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People love to be those like know-it-alls. People
Sure.
love to be those like, I've got the deep cuts for you.
Right.
You don't need to do that for me. You know what I mean? And I learned that when I started listening to music like intently, where it was like the greatest hits albums are where I'm going to learn from the most, because everybody enjoys everyone, and there's a reason they're great hits. You know what I mean? So Mozart for me is that place of respite, and then I'm a huge fan of Viennese waltzes. I'm a huge fan of Strauss.
Okay.
All the Strausses, father, son, nephew.
There were a
you know
lot
what
of
I mean?
Strausses.
A lot of Strausses. You know what I mean? And every New Year's Eve in Vienna, there's a concert that's put on for the city. That is a celebration of Austrian music, a celebration of the waltz. That's a place I go to because, again, the music is fantastic and the melodies are memorable, and that's always what I want. I always want to remember what I heard, and if I don't, then I know it's not that great.
Right.
It's simple math, man. You know what I mean? So I go to the Strauss waltzes a lot. Mendelssohn is a deep cut for most people, but one of the more talented musical artists that ever existed. One of the more talented writers that ever existed. And then you have my place where I grew up, which is Naples, Italy.
Right.
And that has the folk sound of Southern Italian music. Anything from like O Sole Mio to like Toro Siriento, stuff that people know. But again, not duplicated these days. It's not made. It was only made during a certain era. You know what I mean? I'll give you those. How about that?
That is a wonderful answer. I'm really excited to listen to the Piano Sonata in E flat major from Mozart.
How do you listen to music? Do you stream?
I listen to 91.5 KUSC
Me too.
here locally.
Me too. I have.
That's where I get all my. You
From
know what I
day
love?
one.
You know what I love is Jim Schweda.
He's the best. Every time he
that-
comes on,
yeah.
I do his vocal vocal
Jim
stylings.
Schweda. Yeah.
This is Jim Schweda. You know what I mean? Like everyone does it.
Back
His-
in 1643.
Right.
There was a young piano player who wrote a symphony at the very tender age of 11.
He was the best. Or he is the best.
Yeah, he is the best.
He is the best.
But he's
around.
also,
He's
I
still
gotta
on.
say, I really believe that he's the guy at the party that everybody's afraid of, and they only go talk to him because then they're like, it's like I know that there's like people at KUSC, like some dude who's there with his wife, and he's like, fuck, there's Jim Schweda. We gotta go say hi. Let's just get this over with.
He just
Okay?
he just never misses a show. And at 7 p.m. prompt in the city of Los Angeles and streaming across the world, that voice is heard, man. And
So
he's been
good.
doing it forever.
He's fucking amazing. He is absolutely my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite on-air radio talent. I mean, you ask me, the smartest radio DJs out there are the classical ones. That's
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah.
But I will listen to Jim Schweda over Jim Ladd in the Battle of the Jims
Oh, yeah.
any fucking day.
Yeah. Jim Schweda is a national treasure that the majority of the nation don't know that he actually exists.
Yeah.
But if they did, yeah, man. Like he's friends with John Williams,
Yeah,
which
of course.
is
yeah.
John Williams. Let's continue the respite real quick. Modern day classical, if you want to call it that, that's what John Williams does. I mean, he is as brilliant as any of those people I just met because we all know his songs. We all know everything he wrote.
I donated $120 to KUSC last year during their pledge drive.
Yeah.
And I did it. I waited for the hour because I knew that something was going to come up that I wanted. And I got the 2 CD and 1 DVD set of all John Williams stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I love him.
I'm with you on that. I made a playlist for my sons when they were young that they still refer to, and the majority of it was John Williams music. And to this day, the love that they have, or the Indie March, or the Imperial March from
Mhm.
Empire Strikes. These things are untouchable.
Yeah.
They are solid. And they are so good, man.
All right, we are dangerously close to the end of this program, and I'm lamenting seeing this time come to pass. But we're gonna need to get back into another song, eventually bring it home here. I want to thank everybody for listening to this show today, and I also want to thank Rode Microphones for supplying the microphones. Go to Rode.com, RODE. They sell the best. They hired all the engineers from Neumann. When
These are
Neumann
great
stopped
mics.
making Neumanns in like the mid '80s, the guys at Rode said, "Right, mate, why don't you come to Australia?" Hired all those guys and started working mics. Brother Sal is our guest, man. I'll tell you, this has been a blessed experience, my man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me, man. I've enjoyed it myself.
This is super cool. What are you going to take us home with?
This is my song, Down on Love. All right? It's from my Blood and Dust record. I can only imagine how she feels when it's real. She's down, she's so down on love. It's the truth, it's the light in her eyes, all alibis. She's down, she's so down on love. Words spoken in a song, don't make it right when it's wrong. What's the use? I got one more excuse. Well, she cries in the night. No one's there to even fight. But she's down, she's so down on love. I say worries like a rocking chair, always moving, never get you anywhere. She's down, she's so down on love. Words spoken in a song, don't
what's the use? I got one more excuse. Words spoken are no good. I don't love like I should. Oh, what's the use? I got one more excuse. She's a gem worth my time, endless beauty. She's sublime, but she's down. She's so down on love. Yes, she's down. She's so down on love.
Brother Sal, front of house. Man, what a hell of a dude. And I will definitely have him back here in the studio. You know, I got to apologize to you and to Sal about the audio quality of this. Lots of floor noise on this show because I got lost in his live performance and I mixed the room so good that I really forgot to pay attention to what the important thing is here. It's what happens in post on the show and actually gets delivered to you. That's what I should have done, and I didn't do it. Sorry, I went all Kermit the Frog / Boz Skaggs on you for a second there. Anyway, follow Brother Sal at The Brother Sal. And he's playing everywhere in LA, so go out and check out a show. I promise you, I will not let you down with this one, my friends. Before we get out of here, another track from the wonderful EP Sugar High from my dear friends Shannon Hurley and Ben Eisen. They are lovers and poets. Their new EP Sugar High is available everywhere. And they have blessed me with blessing you with a track from this record every single week. We're on to track 4 from the 5-song EP Sugar High, which is available everywhere. I recommend going to loversandpoets.bandcamp.com and checking it out there. Track number 4 from Sugar High by Lovers and Poets is called Keep Breaking My Heart, and it's right here, front of house.
I know who you are, I know where you've been. It happens again and again. Sooner or later we tear it apart, but it's not the end. No, it's not the end. Keep breaking my heart. we tear it apart, but it's not the end. No, it's not the end. Keep breaking my heart. Keep breaking my heart. It's only a few tears I say to myself, but I know the story, I know you too well. Sooner or later, it all falls apart, but it's not the end. No, it's not the end. Keep breaking my heart. Keep breaking my heart.
Good stuff from Lovers and Poets. Keep Breaking My Heart from the EP Sugar High, which is available for purchase everywhere. And buy it. Support your local live music. That's the whole point, my friends. My name is Mike Dawson, and I try to bring you the best music you have never heard in your life. I know I've delivered some favorites to you, and it's just going to keep on getting better. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, hit the like button, hit the share button, leave us a review, and consider becoming a Patreon supporter of Front of House at patreon.com/front of house. We'll be back with you next Music Monday. We got Allie McGurk on the show next week. It's all girl power for the next 2 weeks here on Front of House, and I certainly hope you enjoy it. Follow me on Twitter at Dos Angeles. Follow the show on Twitter at FOHPod. And until next week, go see a live band, go pay a cover charge, and go find your new favorite local rock star. Until then, I'll be back with you next Music Monday, right here in the North Hollywood Hideout in Los Angeles, California. This is Front of House.